Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. Today we're working on the 26 Ram 2500. And as you can see here, we're missing something. This is a must-have accessory as far as I'm concerned on any truck, okay? Now, you can see right here that Dodge at least did us a small favor. They gave us a small fender liner here and up front here. And you get some little splash guards. Now, here's the fatal flaw about these little mud guards, and not necessarily they're protecting the truck, of course, a little bit, but what they're missing is this whole area. You look up in here, you can see that this is basically primed. It's not painted, so there's very little protection, right? And we have a lot of important components in here. As you can see here, we have our frame, but we have some wire harnesses. On the passenger side, we actually have a wire harness that runs right here. So imagine this thing getting beat with rocks, caked with mud, caked with everything from your big knobby tires. Now these are just normal tires that come on a Ram, but most people put bigger rims on there. And as you can see right here, at 500 miles, look how much debris is already speckling up around in here. Now, imagine you're out in your field, you're out somewhere mudding, you're just anywhere where you're getting grime and gripe and crap, and look right here. This will build up. This has a flat ledge on it, so you're gonna get mud stuck here, and then what you do is you have your agitation. Up here, mud can get stuck in here, and there's really no way to get it clean. So, one thing is for sure is Ford and Chevy and Ram all offer their factory OEM full fender liners. I'd encourage you, if you're ordering your truck, order them with them, save yourself the hassle. But if you buy them off the lot, most of the time they go cheap and they don't do the back ones. The front ones are on there, of course, to protect the actual the engine and all of those components from water, which is good. Now, Chevy and Ford, when you order the ones from the factory, they are that fibery material. Now, I had those on my Ford Fiesta, and that is a little car. It never went off-road, probably went down some dirt roads for sure, but it didn't really do anything. Let's look how much those absorb. I made a video of me cleaning those out. Now, although this is on like a Ford Fiesta, you can see right here, this doesn't look all this dirty, guys, but this is, again, the reason why I do not like these. And the OEM, this is the way they're gonna come, this carbon fiber thing, and I don't like it. And so you'll see, and this is why we're talking about this on your heavy duty. This is a car that doesn't go off-road, doesn't get that dirty. But let's just watch how this sprays out here real quick. And watch the ground. And this will actually spray out like this for quite a while. Look at all this crap coming out of here. Versus the hard plastic ones, they're actually going to, and it, like I said, this will just keep coming for hours. You might get it to run clean after a while, but I highly doubt it. And all this stuff caught up in there is going to cause rust. So that's why I want to show you an example on this one. Car's got 123,000 miles on it, and look how dirty that is, and it'll just keep running, especially if we get up here high. And all this stuff can eventually start causing rust and build up because it has organics in it, or it gets wet. So you'll see, like I said, it just runs and runs and runs for quite a while. Okay, so now you can see the benefit of one that would be a hard plastic. Now, Rams from the factory are all hard plastic, just like these mini ones, and I think they're worth it. Now, obviously the ones from the factory are better than nothing, but those can degrade. They're super hard to clean, especially like even sandburrs will get in those and get stuck. And the plastic ones, the only way it's gonna get stuck is if it's stuck in the mud. And they all spray off super easy. So with the 26 Ram, unfortunately, Husky liners is the typical brand that I usually run. But we decided on this truck that we're gonna go cheaper on a lot of different accessories. Why? Because most people maybe not be able to afford it, but don't see the value in spending more for potentially a name or whatever. And I can tell you, we have a board video coming on this. We have a tonneau video cover coming on this. and it's fantastic. So there is one company out there. People have asked me what I thought about them. They're a very similar type structure company. It's called Rough Country. They make all kinds of stuff. They're actually one of the few that actually make them for the 26 Ram. Now, keeping in mind, 26s are new. It's not even 26, right? But Ram still has the classic body style. So if you're in a 2010 to 2026, more likely it's going to fit. So if you're looking for parts, just make sure you're getting parts for a 24, 25, 23, and they're going to fix. So let's take a look here. This is the Rough Country liner. As you can see here, it actually doesn't even come boxed up. So thanks to, FedEx, they kind of bang the edges up, but this thing's already going to get banged up anyway. But it's a little bit thinner material than the Husky liners. And it does come stamped, the stickers on it, but you can kind of see right here, left hand, right hand. So they are marked because although they do look identical, they are a smidge different. And so I'm going to show you how to install them because one, their instructions, Rough Country instructions, could get better and clearer. The pictures are very grainy. This covers a lot of different years, and there's some aspects that I refuse to give up. They want you to ditch this rear mudguard. I did it without it, and it's not super clear on where you put the mounting points, and some holes you do or don't use, and it is tight to get into. So you can take your truck to looking like this to looking like this. So this is a passenger side already done, guys. Some of the stuff I actually reused the OEM hardware just because I feel it was a little bit longer and more robust, because the tolerances in here are pretty tight. They don't actually use this upper hole in here. There's no hole drilled for it, and there's not an extra clip per se for it. And like I said, I ditch this mudguard. So the factory one, we will have to remove the front one of these. I would hold on to that. Obviously, if you have room on the shelf, hang on to it, because if you decide to upgrade from a 23 and you've installed these on a 23 and you're getting a 26, guys, you're going to use this. So you don't use this hole. So that hole was used by the original one. We don't have to use those clips. And they wanted me to use a rubber plunger on that hole, or a plastic body fastener, but that was a son of a gun getting in. And this is kind of a finger pincher. They always are, but super big finger pincher. And I actually reused the stock screw just to give us a tight thing. And if you're really good and you want to kind of pinch your fingers, you can get this behind and reuse these things. So I didn't want to lose this because it protects the rocker, and I didn't want to lose that one because it protects the rocker. No real need to. So whether that's just something that they say to do, their product works, and I think it looked darn good. We have full protection here. Nothing's getting up in our area here to bang up our box or chip our edges. And then because this truck is new, I will put down some clear bra on this edge because I don't have fender liners. I don't intend on doing it. So there's some kind of the hype. So now we're going to do a quick install video. So now that you sat through that, I'm going to show you exactly what to remove. I'm going to show you exactly what to clip on this thing. And then you don't even have to look at those silly directions or call them for tech support. You're going to get this job done. So you can never put good stuff on trash. First things first, we're going to get my pressure washer out, and we're going to get this thing cleaned up, get all of this crap scrubbed out. Especially if you're in an area with salt, you want to get it washed and sprayed and get that stuff out. We're going to wipe down the frame, although the frame will probably still get a little bit of splash at some point. We're going to get off all of this dirt before we put a new product on anything. So let's get it cleaned up. All right, so we're working on getting this cleaned up, but I want to clean up this whole area back here. So guys, you're going to need a 5/16 socket. Remove 1, 2, 3, 4. Disregard the whole thing of popping this mudguard down or the other mudguard down. Now, one last one, you got to remove this one, but I would leave that metal clip in there and use that when we put the new liner in. So we're going to remove that one. I'm going to show you how much dirt just got behind this bad boy at 500 miles. All right, guys, so you can see right here how much grime and stuff got up there, even having, and I didn't off-road or anything. This is just normal rain and stuff we've been through. So keep in mind, if you're trail and you're packing this thing with mud, or you're constantly just getting into situations, imagine how much crap is going to go up there. That's your filler tube for your DEF, your diesel. There's a guard here, there's some wiring, there's some brake lines. So we're going to get this cleaned up now, and now I'll show you on the back. All right, so go ahead and clean this one off too. Get all the mud and debris off that, as much out of here as you possibly can, because we're going to leave this one in. Don't take that screw out, leave that. you have to take out the front one. So don't even try to think that you can leave it in there, because there's too much tension and you'll be like, the holes aren't lining up and everything. So we need to remove this screw, this screw, and this screw. That's it. Okay, and save all your original hardware, because I chose to put the original hardware back in instead of their little Phillips head one. I had to use one Phillips head because I end up reusing that hole. If that clip falls off, set it on the ground, take the bottom of your tool, tap it, and it'll snap right back on. You're gonna end up using this hole, and that hole, and then this upper hole. I'm pretty sure one of these two we won't use. We'll see if this side has anything. Now, come up, you're like, but I don't have those mudguard things. What do I do? So if you don't have the mudguard things at all, and you don't have to worry about that, you will most likely still have this rear piece of. You can then follow the instructions just as you do if you don't have any type of front liner here. And you'll just still be removing any of the screws that you currently do have, and then you'll just be putting the clips on the mounting points, which I will show you soon. All right, next we're going to go ahead and remove their shipping sticker, because this sticker will be behind the wheel. So if you want to take it off later, that'll be a pain in the rumpus. But I'm going to clean off all this adhesive just because I want a clean black look. But we do have two different ones. We removed our screws there. All right, so now you can go ahead and set this down here, guys, and you can see we're going to be reusing a couple of these actual holes with hardware. So this will be the front. So we're going to use our clip here, 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 here. And then because we're going to leave this back guard, we have the last three holes. 1, 2, 3. We're not putting their clips on. We're going to reuse that. So because all the original clips stayed on that piece, again, you'll need to put them on here. Let me show you how to do that. All right, so they're just pinch clips again, making sure the part the screw needs to go out is on the outside, and you're just going to put these on. Try and get them lined up before you put them on, because they're made to kind of clip on the plastic and they're not as easy to move around as you might think. So we're going to install these clips all the way except for this last three. Now, if for some reason you put this clip on the opposite way, just get a screwdriver and try and pry it up. If you have to, you get a screwdriver on both sides, but I'd probably recommend you wearing gloves, especially once we get to the next step where we install it. And we can see down here we have like an imperfection burr. So I'm going to get a utility knife and just cut that off. That's from them drilling it out. So we're going to get that cleaned up so that way it has a flat surface, because that is a tight fit back here. All right, so I'd encourage you to get some gloves. These are my favorite rubbery gas gloves. They're super grippy. They're hard to cut through. I can link some down below, but to be honest, any glove, it just gives you a little bit of good dexterity. So now we're going to weasel this thing in here. I would probably suggest starting back here, putting the back of it over the tire first, and it is pretty flexible, so we can work it around. So I'm going to work this around and kind of get it fitted in there. All right, so like I said, you're going to need to bend it. You can see we have it pretty bent here to get this last little bit. You're going to try and make sure you don't scratch this. So we're going to work this one in, and you can see you did have to pull this one back a smidge so we can get this behind the metal. You don't need to take this all the way off. So we'll make sure it's popped back up under there once we get it done. So I'm going to get this swung in there. Then we're going to line up a few of the holes and at least get some of the screws started. So now this is where I like to reuse these OEM hardware, because the screws they give you are a lot shorter and trying to reach through that material. Now what you can do is, if these are not kind of lining up and you have like an awl or a real skinny Phillips head, you can kind of get a location of those holes so you can get to work on it. We're not going to worry about these back ones yet because they're a pain in the rump. So when you come down here, you may have to get in here, find the first hole, find the second hole, and then push the back side of this in a little bit so you can get your holes lined up. And then what I would do is I would leave this bottom one in there if you can. And if you can't still line it up, then of course you'll have to pull this out. You can start a screw here. Don't tighten it all the way yet. We don't want to tighten any of the holes all the way yet. So now we got that one lined up. And we're going to reuse the OEM hardware. So I would start here, get these two lined up, then this third one, and then work your way around that, leaving those two for last. So again, we're only going to use one of their Phillips heads because we're going to use the OEM hardware. So I'm going to start all these and show you. All right, before you put this last screw in, I'm telling you it'll be easier to put that screw in, and you're really gonna have to pick up on this really hard. So if you need a second hand, grab your wife and have her put the screw in or start the screw for you, because you really gotta pick it up and torque it. Then that should align this one. Take the little plunger out, that little plastic piece, I think it rolled away here. And, oh no, this piece right here. That'll assist you in getting this in the hole, because you're also gonna have to pick up on this back. Once you get those all in, guys, tighten this down until it's all the way at the bottom, or tight. Again, this is the only hole we don't use, so it is what it is, and that's the only one of the Phillips head that I had to use from them, because I didn't have any others to match the factory hardware. But we're gonna get this thing tightened down, show you what it looks like. All right, there you go, everybody. Now, if you just follow their instructions, you'll eventually figure it out, probably by the process elimination. That's why I made this video. I will say, in comparison to the OEM ones, I think we're right at the same thickness. They fit really good, so I'm gonna say that these are well worth the $100. I think they had free shipping. I think I got them directly from their website. Now, I am not sponsored by Rough Country. Rough Country, if you want me to try out some more products, I'm not a real lifter guy or anything like that, but if you have some cool stuff that you'd like to put out there for me to try, like say a side bed step for this bad boy, wouldn't mind doing that. And if you don't have one of those, then yeah, maybe you guys should make one, because I would have to say overall their products have really good reviews. I'm interested in seeing how this is, because they're about the same thickness. They're definitely thinner than a Husky liner, but they're going to get the job done. And again, when it comes to cleanability, I once drove through some fresh paint when I made a left turn across a road that they had just striped, and it splattered on those fiber ones from the factory, and I never could get it off without actually making that stuff fray. So well worth the $100. I will link some down below, because I think you can get them on the Zon. I will link all the tools that you might think you need, and if you just follow this, guys, you're going to install these. This is a great investment, and I'm surprised Husky Liners doesn't make one yet, but Rough Country did, and I would have to give it a thumbs up. As for the quality and the way it fits, their instructions, not so well. But I hope that this helps you guys out, and I hope you guys protect your investment. If you want to see a similar thing on the Husky liners, I have them for the Chevy and the Ford, and you guys are more than welcome to check those out and see. I would definitely go Husky liners for about another $40, just because they're thicker. But because that's not an option on this truck so far, I would definitely snag these Rough Countries. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you check back. We've got tons of stuff coming on the 26th, and I'm going to show you that all the parts for the 23, 24 are going to fit this bad boy. Appreciate you guys being here. Catch you on the next one.